In this video, I'll show you how to create a precise and detailed floor plan with dimensions. And make sure to stick around to the end, where I even show you how to export it out of Blender. So let's get started. I'll try to make this as easy to follow as possible. So we'll break this down into 3 steps. First, we'll create the section box. Then we'll generate cross-section elevation drawings. And finally, add the dimensions. And actually, there's a 4th step at the end, where we export this out of Blender. So let's start with the first step by creating the section box. Therefore, select all the objects you want to include. In our case, this building right here. So select everything. Then right click and choose Create Section Box. This will create a bounding box around all the objects, which you can now use to create the drawings in the next step. And by the way, if you don't have section box already, there's a link in the description where you can get it. So how do we now get a floor plan out of this? Let me show you. First, bring the box in shape. In our case, we want cut down to the floor. Therefore, you can use these black handles at each plane of the box to transform the box, like that. Bring it down where you want the cut, and I put it a bit more down, and this looks good to me. So now you can open the section box menu by going into the sidebar by pressing N and then choosing section box, and here you find the main menu of section box. But in our case, we only need these 2 sections, the section menu and the elevation menu, so you can collapse the others. By the way, if you want to learn more about how section box improves your workflow, I'll made a dedicated video about that, which I'll leave a link at the end of this video. Anyway, let's create some drawings. For the cross section, just go to the Create button and click it. And here we go. We got our cross section already set up. And it's not much harder for elevations. So simply press Create. This takes a moment. And here we go. But as you notice, it didn't take all the edges into account, which you can see here, for example. This is because these edges have a very low angle. And luckily, there's an easy fix for that. Simply increase the crease angle right here. So in our case, 175 degrees should be fine. Then you can remove the elevation and recreate it. This takes even longer because more edges means more calculations. But here it is, and it looks perfect. All edges are traced and we got our cross section and elevation set up. So to add the dimensions in the next step, we need these drawings as meshes. And also for that, section box makes it really easy to do this by using the export as operators right here. So mesh is already selected. You can also export them as TXF if you want. But in our case, we need it as mesh. So select this and then use this little button here for export. So click it. Then I recommend to check the cleanup to remove any unnecessary vertices we really don't want in our drawings. So enable this and then click OK. And here we go. To make it a bit more better visible, we will put this into a new collection. So press M, leave everything selected as it is right now. Press New Collection, name it like you want. In our case, we name it Floor Plan. Click OK, and now you can disable the other collections, building and section boxes. And here we go. Here are our drawings as meshes in Blender. Now we're ready for adding the dimensions. Therefore, we'll use the free MeasureIt Arch add-on by Kevin Kress and Antonio Vasquez. If you don't have it already, it's the second link in the description down below. After you've installed it like any other add-on, simply enable it and that's it. So huge thanks to the developers and let's get started. So to see better what we do from now on, let's change the background color to white, that we can see all the black lines much better. So change this to viewport here, and then you can select the color here and bump it up fully to white, and this looks really great. And actually, let's change the view to match the orientation we just had before. And in our case, let's join these both meshes as they are separated right now. But if you only want to include the cross-section, then you can do this, it's up to you. Then you don't have to join anything, of course. So let's press Ctrl J to join them. And now let's get started with the MeasureIt Arch add-on. So now press N to open the sidebar. And here you now find the MeasureIt Arch tab. And here is the main menu. And first thing you should do is press the show button, because this will enable everything we'll do in a moment. And here also all the tools for creating the dimensions and also annotations and more. But in this video, to keep it as easy and simple as possible, we'll only use the aligned feature and the lines features. So to now actually add a dimension, go to edit mode and select any two vertices you want to create a measurement for. For example, these both, well, let's take these both right here. And with them both selected, press the align option. And here we go, our first dimension. But it's way too thin and the font is way too small, so let's change this. And that's actually really easy because of this style set, which is selected right here. And you can edit this in the scene properties. So navigate to the scene properties and then find the MeasureIt Arch panel right here. And here you can see the styles menu, so expand it. And here are the different styles. As you can see, the dimension style 1, here the dimension style 1. So select it, and then we got all the settings right here. And here is the font size, so let's change this, bump this up to about 30. 30 looks fine. Then the line weight, the lines are also way too thin for this scale, so let's make it 2. That's good. And then there are arrows right here, but you actually can't see them because they're so small. So let's make them a little bit bigger too. So here you find the arrow size, so increase it a bit to maybe about 30. This looks really great to me now. So let's create another right here. Again, select first vertex, then the second, press aligned, and voila, our second dimension. And same thing here, select both, aligned, and here we go. So now it gets interesting. Let's select these both, and as you can see, this is pointing inwards. So to fix this, navigate to the object properties right here, and here you find all the dimensions we've just added. So you can check this by hiding them, like this. When you hide them, they disappear, and yeah, these are representations of all the dimensions. So let's find the last one, the one pointing inwards, it's this. And then you got settings right here. And notice the tweak distance, pointing it outwards. Let's change this to -1, and this does the trick. So I now do this for all the other sides, and then we look on how to export everything. And as I already said, we are only scratching the surface here. So if you want to learn more about the MeasureIt Arch add-on and what all you can do with it, then please let me know in the comments down below. Actually, we got another little issue right here, because this is way too narrow to fit the text in here. It gets aligned outside. So to fix this, just again select the dimension. Let's check it. I think it's this. and then go to the settings again, and under alignment, select right or select left. Yeah, and left looks much better. So that's the easy fix for this too. If we would export everything now, we would only see the dimensions. This because we have to add a line group to our mesh. Therefore, go to object mode and then select the object and press dynamic line group. And this adds lines in place of all edges in our mesh, which will be visible in the final export. Actually, it looks like nothing happened, but if you go into the object properties and scroll a bit down to the line groups, then you get this new item right here, which represents this dynamic line group we've just created for our plan. And you can see these lines are using the style settings. Therefore, because we had the line style 1 selected right here, therefore go to the scene properties, then again to the styles, and this time not the dimension style but the line style, and then we got a color option here. And if you deselect this and now change the color, you can see that our whole appearance of the mesh is changing, which means there are indeed new lines on top of the mesh. Great, so let's export it. Therefore, we need a camera. So press Shift A and choose camera. Now move it up a little bit, like that. And now head over to the scene properties. And you can collapse the styles tab and open the views tab right here. And here now find the default view. And I'll make this a bit wider, like this. And here you can see a camera icon, and click into this and choose your camera. In my case is this. And now we can edit the default view settings right here. So expand them. And again, many settings, I know, but we only need to change the size and the output path right here. So choose the size you want. In my case, A0 works great. And yeah, in my case, landscape mode looks good. Okay, now change the path to where you want to save the export. In my case, I saved in my video folder, accept, and you can try if the path is working by clicking this little button right here. And if everything's working, if the browser gets opened, then the path works fine and you can export it. And now for the final step for exporting our plan, press F3 or spacebar to open the search menu, type render vector, and with this option we render our plan as an SVG file. There actually should be a button somewhere to do this, but to be honest, I didn't find it. So if you know where it is, please let me down in the comments below. But this works fine, so just execute it right here. And voila, it worked perfectly. Here's our floor plan with dimension. If you need the plan as a DXF file, you could either convert the SVG file to a DXF file, or you can bring up the search menu again and search for render to DXF and execute this one here. But be aware of some scaling issues that might happen, and yeah, therefore check out the documentation of the MeasureIt Arch add-on, where they go in detail about how to fix these issues. I'll leave a link down below. That's how we can create highly precise and detailed plans with dimensions in Blender. If this was helpful for you and you don't want to miss the next ones, hit that like and subscribe button. It really makes a huge difference. Now I recommend you to watch my section box beginner tutorial if you haven't already, which you can see right here. Thanks for watching and hope to see you soon.